The digestive system is a group of organs working together to convert food into energy and basic nutrients to feed the entire body. Food passes through a long tube inside the body known as the alimentary canal or the gastrointestinal tract. The alimentary canal is made up of the oral cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestines, and large intestines. In addition to the alimentary canal, there are several important accessory organs that help your body to digest food. Accessory organs of the digestive system include the teeth, tongue, salivary glands, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. Food begins its journey through the digestive system in the mouth, also known as the oral cavity. Inside the mouth are many accessory organs that aid in the digestion of food: the tongue, teeth, and salivary glands. The teeth are 32 small, hard organs found along the anterior and lateral edges of the mouth. Starting at the front on one side of the upper or lower jaw, there are two blade-like incisors. You use this for biting into your apple. Behind the incisors is a single-pointed canine tooth. Next come two premolars and three molars, which grind and crush your food. You use this to pulverize your apple, cheese, and crackers. The third molar is wisdom tooth. It does not appear in all people, and in some people it pushes against the other teeth and must be removed. Surrounding the mouth are three sets of salivary glands, namely the parotid gland, submandibular gland, and sublingual gland. Salivary glands produce saliva, which moistens the mouth to help a person chew and swallow food. Saliva also contains substances or enzymes that begin the breakdown of food. Saliva contains several substances important in food processing. A slippery glycoprotein protects the soft lining of your mouth and lubricates food for easier swallowing. Buffers neutralize food acids, helping prevent tooth decay. Antibacterial agents kill many of the bacteria that enter your mouth with food. Saliva also contains the digestive enzyme amylase, which begins hydrolyzing the starch in your cracker into the disaccharide maltose. Also prominent in the oral cavity is the tongue, a muscular organ covered with taste buds. Besides enabling you to taste your meal, the tongue manipulates food and helps shape it into a ball called the bolus. In swallowing, the tongue pushes the bolus to the back of your oral cavity and into the pharynx. The pharynx or throat is a funnel-shaped tube connected to the posterior end of the mouth. The pharynx is responsible for the passing of masses of chewed food from the mouth to the esophagus. Because the pharynx serves two different functions, it contains a flap of tissue known as the big glottis that acts as a switch to route food to the esophagus and air to the larynx. The esophagus is a muscular tube connecting the pharynx to the stomach. It carries swallowed masses of chewed food along its length. At the inferior end of the esophagus is a muscular ring called the lower esophageal sphincter or cardiac sphincter. The function of this sphincter is to close the end of the esophagus and trap food in the stomach. It relaxes to open and contracts to close. Having a stomach is the main reason you do not need to eat constantly. Your stomach can stretch to accommodate about 2 liters of food and drink, usually enough to satisfy your needs for hours. In an average person, the stomach is about the size of their 2 fists placed next to each other. The stomach also contains hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes that continue the digestion of food that began in the mouth. The stomach secretes gastric juice, which is made up of a protein digesting enzyme, mucus, and strong acid. The pH of gastric juice is about 2, acidic enough to dissolve iron nails. One function of the acid is to break apart the cells in food and denature proteins. The acid also kills most bacteria and other microbes that are swallowed with food. The gastric glands have three types of cells that secrete different components of gastric juice. Mucus cells secrete mucus, which lubricates and protects the cells lining the stomach. Parietal cells secrete hydrogen and chloride ions, which combine in the lumen of the stomach to form hydrochloric acid. Chief cells secrete pepsinogen, an inactive form of the enzyme pepsin. The food bolus is mixed with hydrochloric acid and pepsin released by the stomach. This helps the food bolus reduce into a fluid substance known as chyme. It is then released to the first portion of the small intestine called the duodenum. Pancreatic cells produce pancreatic juice, composed of bicarbonates and digestive enzymes, amylase, lipase, and protease. Juice is then released into the duodenum, mixing with the chyme. The gallbladder contracts and pushes the bile through the cystic duct and the common bile duct, where they join the pancreatic duct at the hepatopancreatic ampulla. The bile then flows into the duodenum that helps digest fat. The chyme passes to two more portions of the small intestine while the nutrients are being absorbed. The unabsorbed portion of the bolus passes out of the ileum and into the large intestine through the ileocecal valve. The bolus then travels around the colon. The formed stool then enters the upper portion of rectum. Defecation occurs when the anal sphincter relaxes after a neural input causes the rectum to widen.